Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Strange Saturday Super Show. We're going to be talking about Hack Slash Volume 3 in this
Woo.
episode, which is going to compose the first 4 issues of the series once it became an ongoing
Yeah,
book.
it technically should also include the Hack Slash Chucky crossover, but we skipped that.
Yeah, we're not really Chucky fans, we're not actually
Plus, we
hardcore
already saw Cassie fight a weird doll multiple times.
That's very true. But basically that's gonna encompass the first 4 issues of the series. It's written by Tim Seeley, of course. Pencils by Emily Stone, colored by Courtney Villa, and letters by Brian J. Crowley. Yeah, Katie, anything you wanna hit on before we get into this?
Yeah, I think importantly, this is also kind of a new era for Hack Slash. So the first issue of the ongoing series is a little bit of retreading with what we already know about Cassie's backstory, her hack story, if you will. Her hack story.
As one often.
And a little bit of how she and Vlad came to be buddies. But then we get into like a full 3-issue arc. So instead of being the little one shots,
yeah, exactly, the first multi-issue arc of Hack Slash. If I'm not,
though we did have a sequel
if you count
arc.
Slice Hard, which has the returning characters.
Yeah, so we had a sequel one shot before, but not like an actual meant to be consumed as a 3-issue.
I believe Volume 2 was actually called Death by Sequel, so there you go.
I believe it was.
But yeah, in any case, let's get into issue 1, because I think that's going to be a quick kind of breeze through before we talk about the longer arc. So issue 1 opens on this skinless man cutting off one of Cassie's toes, who quickly reveals that he's a psychology teacher who was turned in for doing sick things to his students, and then he started taking them apart to quote-unquote reveal their truth. And he wants to do the same to Cassie, both physically and emotionally. So while she's not actually giving him much for removing her toes, he starts to kind of delve into her emotional past, and that gives her much more trouble than having her toes cut off. And this is kind of what Katie was hitting on. We see a lot of Cassie's past here, kind of a lot of retreaded ground. We see that she was bullied when she was a kid. Her mother chopped up the boys that bullied her and put them into people's food, because her mother, importantly, is a lunch lady. And then eventually offs herself when Cassie turned.
Yeah, I do think we 2 months ago now we did a tier list where we ranked comic book mothers, and while obviously she still belongs in the CPS tier, I do feel we got a lot more love from Cassie's mom.
We did it. Because I was like, I wonder, so I went back and I looked at the original version, and I think a lot of it is just the time, the timing that it's given, because it's very short in the initial thing, and kind of just the actual way this, because the story isn't actually changed at all, and there's no extras. I was wondering, was it said the first time that it was specifically people who bullied her that were chopped up? And it was, and I was like, so that wasn't a new addition to make her nicer. It just came across kind of a little bit more.
We just get to see her being more caring. And we also get more empathy for her a little bit later on, but I'll let you keep going, because we'll get to that in a second.
Across these projects, we also see that her father abandoned her when she was young, never coming home from work. Not a pack of cigarettes, not quite that cliche.
Not going to the gas station for milk.
We also get, I believe, the first time we physically see her meeting of Vlad, even though they had met a few moments before the scene that we get. But we learned that she met Vlad when she was tracking a killer and wrongly assumed he was the killer before he helped her take down the actual killer. While this is all going on,
it with the L. Hell yeah.
While this is all going on, we see Vlad go to a coffee shop to use their Wi-Fi and find out where Cassie's being held, which is maybe actually my favorite scene across all 4 issues. It was wildly entertaining the way that scene was just done. Very, very funny. I recommend that you read it. And he arrives just in time for the killer. It has gotten fed up with Cassie for not giving him anything and is about to kill her,
and for kicking him in the dick.
3 of his toes already, which is, I think, important.
Wild.
Cassie down 3 toes. And Vlad slices off his arms before Cassie pushes him out a window. We then get another one of my favorite scenes where we go back to the motel, where Cassie is in just a perfect character moment for her, more focused on the blood on her clothes as she's trying to pretend that experience did not affect her, but she eventually breaks down crying, and Vlad holds her very nicely. And I thought that scene was
so good.
was like such a good way to end the first issue of like
Mhm.
this series that I'm sure was meant to bring in new people, because it sums up the two of their characters so immediately and so perfectly.
It really does. I absolutely loved that last scene.
It's
I
amazing.
feel like it was such a good, like, it was such a nice, neat package ending to the issue. Like, they do such a good job of really bringing you into the hack slash universe, and like you're saying, really cleanly being like, this is who these characters are.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you get so much good, like, kind of hallmark hack slash in this
yeah,
issue, where it's like you get Vlad trying to interact with the regular world and being a bit of a weirdo. You get Cassie being impetuous even when she's a hostage.
yeah,
You get the weirdness of the like slashers of this world, and then you get the
yep,
like deep heart that I think is what really made us fall in love with hack slash. Uh,
absolutely.
it's so sweet, and I look. We all know I'm a Vlad stan. I loved it so much.
Vlad gets
He's
a
such a
lot in these four
sweetie
issues.
boy. I absolutely adored
Yeah,
this first issue in general, but also specifically that last scene.
absolutely. Um, yeah, no, it was very well done to intro into the world of Hack Slash. Obviously, we had already been introed, but for
Yeah.
new people, I think it is a very strong first issue, so you can definitely jump in there. But now we're going to talk about Shout at the Devil. So this
Oh, I
arc
guess we
is,
should also mention there is a little stinger at the end of the first issue.
yeah. So
Uh,
I figured that was like going to be in the thing, but yes, it
oh, fair
shows
enough.
us a or are you talking about the? There's actually two stingers. Are
Oh
you
yeah,
talking
I'm
about
talking about the first
the
stinger.
corporate
There
stinger?
is a little cutaway to the Crane Center,
Yeah,
which I
they're the people who
believe
run
we
that.
already knew from
Yeah, they run
Slice
that.
Hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that group, that lab that was like
yeah,
investigating kind of the slasher phenomenon
yeah.
that exists in
Uh,
this.
and this director guy is holding a manila folder that says Dr. Jack Hack, uh, psychologist, which I was a little confused when it first popped up because I was like, is this in reference to the psychologist they just took care of?
No, I
I
think it's just a unfortunate placement type thing.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because I went back and read through that
yeah,
little part again, and I'm like, no, I don't think it is. But
yeah,
it
no.
is a little bit unfortunate to have an issue all about
The
a
psychologist, yeah,
psychologist
yeah,
killer, and
absolutely.
then the reveal of like Dr. Jack Hack,
Yeah,
psychologist.
no,
But
it's
also
definitely.
continuing the great naming, Dr. Jack Hack, so good.
There you go. I mean, it's who knows how to name. But in any case, we then get to this arc that is all about Acid Washed, which is this crappy rock and roll band that is playing in a crappy bar, and they have only one real fan. Her name is Gertrude, and she's like been a groupie for a lot of bands for a long time, so she's a little bit, older in age. And this band is not happy playing in this crappy bar, and they're talking about how they can make it big, and their front man, 6'6", does not want to put any of the effort in. And then they are approached by this older gentleman who basically says that he thinks 6'6" has potential.
That's right.
We then jump to Cassie and Vlad in a dollar store. Cassie is clearly affected by the loss of her toes, but she doesn't want to admit that she is, and she doesn't want Vlad babying her, so she insists on shopping on her own. Ends up wiping out because she's missing basically half of the toes on one
Yeah.
foot, over half of the toes on one
Also
foot.
deeply importantly to me, and I feel like this is something that um always delights me with Hack Slash. I feel like it's a book that often has like little visual gags kind of in the
Oh,
background. Like this whole dollar store I think is really, really silly. They have like a bin that's shotgun shells, 25 per box for 50 cents, and like all these like little details in the background, like these strange little figures and all these little knickknacks that you would see at like a shitty 99-cent store. That
very
all like just add so much flavor to the page, and I feel like
totally.
that's can you remind me the name of our artist?
Our artist. Oh my god, dude!
Oh
Quick,
no, I'm
quick, quick,
sorry.
quick, 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 quick! It is Courtney Villa. No, sorry,
That's
that's
the
the colorist. I'm
colorist.
sorry, Emily Stone.
Emily Stone. I knew there was an S in there. Yeah, I think that Emily Stone is like immediately proving herself with not only the great visuals of the fully skinned man from the first issue, but also with the like kind of uh I don't know, I guess because Hackslash is such a funny book, right? Like
Yeah,
it's a violent book, it's a little bit serious and
It's a
emotional.
bit of a slasher satire, which is like I think that,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I think that the art does a lot to sell the humor of the
Yeah.
book, and so
Agreed.
big ups
No, I think this is a very good
to
series.
Stone.
For a book that's it goes through a lot of artists. I think we had ups and downs with different other one shot
Mhm.
artists. For the series to start off, this is a very strong note. But in any case, um, this leads to Cassie getting a call from her friend Chris, who is kind of their man in the chair, if you want to,
Mhm.
call him that. He gives them a lot of the information on slashers. They kind of
Yeah, I'm
call
trying
him
to
up.
remember where
Basically,
we met Chris. Was he from the very first one? Was
the-
he with the euthanized?
was he the first one? I don't think he was.
Because I know
Wasn't
there
he
was a
I
girl
thought he
from
was
the
from
first
Toys.
one.
I thought his friend died from the toy killer.
Oh,
Like
you're
in the
so right. You're so
yeah,
right.
yeah.
But I think they're still friends with the woman from the first one, and I think that might be Lisa, who's also
That's
there.
Lisa.
Yeah,
Lisa, I think, has been around longer.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
think she was from Euthanized.
yeah, I believe
Yeah.
that's correct. But yeah, Chris, I'm pretty sure it's from the toy one.
No, you're so right.
Yeah. In any case, so Chris has heard about disappearances connecting to this band called Acid Wash that are on tour. Vlad and Cassie decide to investigate. It's in Florida, so they go to Florida where they make friends with this stripper named Georgia, who's a huge fan of Acid
Georgia
Wash.
Peaches.
Georgia Peaches. And importantly, she tells them that she's just stripping to save money for acting, and she is, in fact, a virgin.
Yes.
I know that sounds like I'm bringing it up for no reason. It's actually
not only a version, but a straight edge version.
it's
I love
crucially
that for her.
important to the plot. But
Yes.
things really kick off as Vlad and Cassie, along with Georgia, attend an Acid Wash concert. And this is where everything comes out that the band's made a deal with the devil, and through this song enchantment, they were able to control specifically virgins. This is why it's important, who they deliver to a hellish dimension called Neph. Since all three of their main characters here are virgins, they're all controlled by the spell, but Vlad is rejected due to his appearance. Sorry, Vlad.
They
there's
don't
no other way
want
to put that.
him.
They don't want
He's
Vlad.
a virgin, but he's not a babe.
Yeah,
In their
but Georgia,
eyes. In my eyes, he's a babe.
But Georgia and Cassie end up in this hellish dimension called Neph, where they're promptly attacked by these demonic tusked beings with magical staffs. As Cassie, of course, has to try to put up a fight, but they end up thrown into a cage. Where importantly, there is the man who I believe is the same man who approached the band earlier in the book. And he is in like this Hawaiian getup, which is very funny to me. But
it's giving the grandpa from Ben 10.
It is actually. It's like the same shirt. It's very funny.
I do want to pause you real quick, just because I want to give another shout to the art here. Back when we see the demonic transformations of these guys, it looks so rad. It's this super cool double spread, and you can see him using like his evil guitar energy to raise the rest of the band whose souls he has sold so that he could like have this power, and he raises them and they all look like Kiss zombies. It's so cool looking. And there's also like a pretty visceral human sacrifice in there. Like there's a groupie who gets burned from the inside out. And then we see
they need like the full blown sacrifice to get into their forms, and then they like do the more just like claiming, I guess. But in any case,
so yeah, I thought that was super fun, and really, really great moment.
Absolutely, but yeah, back on Earth, I guess. Vlad calls Chris, and Chris somehow being able to learn like everything very easily. He read a magic book. He's learned that the enchantment only works on virgins, and so this sets up really what is shockingly the main plot of this arc, which is that Vlad is going to have to get laid so they can not use their magic on him.
Yep. It's so good. It's so good. I loved it so much. We covered a lot of ground in there. So I wanna stop to pause on a few different things. I absolutely love the the like goofiness of their like virgin magic. Like they get all the virgins get little pentagrams on their heads. It's so silly, and I feel like it's really well done. Oddly enough, like I feel like it's something that could feel like really weird in a book, but I feel like Hackslash really kind of, I don't know, takes the lampshade off and is like, no, this is a little weird. Like this is odd. and we
Everything
recognize that.
is
And like
just
it's because it's like ancient magic that it's weird and odd. Uh
yeah,
and it's so well done, which I think was really great because I think it could have been weird. And then when they get to hell, we get so much great interaction
it's
between.
Neff actually
I'm sorry, you're
important.
so right. We get to Neff, and we get so much great interaction
Oh
between Cassie and Georgia, and we'll get more of it. We'll get more of it as we go deeper into the series. But like off the bat,
yeah,
Cassie is she's like such a good. I feel like Tim Seeley knows exactly who Cassie Hack is.
yeah,
So anytime I read her on the page, I'm like, she's so consistent. Like she's so real on the page to me.
yeah. It's because she could very easily play in a like that like stereotypical like kind of alt girl boss bitch who does take, but like for her, Tim Seeley has made it very clear that it's like a fake mask and
Yeah.
it's not like her actual personality, which I
Mhm.
think is what makes it so great because you get all those moments that like you really like with a character like that where they can make like the jokes and kind of the offhand stuff.
Yeah.
But she has like actual emotions and feelings
Yeah,
beneath
she
it
has
that are
like
very real.
substance beneath it that I think
Yeah,
is kind of always right beneath the surface.
yeah,
And she's not always great at keeping her mask on. And I
no,
think that's really, really wonderful.
absolutely. But yeah, back to Vlad having to get laid. Chris.
Which, frankly,
uh,
also deeply in character. Vlad,
yeah,
also incredibly consistent character.
funny. But anyway, so Chris and Lisa are trying to figure out a way to wire Vlad money so that he can pay a hooker because they do not think Vlad is going to be able to get laid in any other way. But Vlad wants to try the traditional way. So he ends up going to a bar where he strikes out with an incredibly desperate woman who literally said that she was going to sleep with the next man that hit on her. And so it seems impossible. He
My
goes to
poor
leave the
boy.
bar where he sees a very drunk Gertrude, who, if you remember, is the band's first fan, who is
Yes.
upset that the acid washed has kind of forgotten about her, and she is completely wasted.
Yeah.
Vlad tries to walk her home and leave her at her home, but Gertrude instead grabs and kisses him, pulling him inside where they maybe have sex. Vlad isn't sure because he doesn't know how sex works.
He tries to call Chris before it happens to be like, Chris,
in the bathroom. It's very
what
funny.
am I looking to accomplish here, man?
That scene
My
was
poor
deeply
boy.
funny to me.
It was
Where
so
he's
good.
just like on the phone, and Chris is like, "What do you mean? How do you have sex?"
Like,
We
Vlad,
then have
I
another phone
can't
call
help you
after
with
the
it, buddy.
fact where Chris is like, "Well, did you like put your penis in her vagina?"
And he's like,
Vlad is like, "What's a
vagina?
vagina?"
My poor boy,
Deeply
I
funny.
love him so much.
Oh, it's just deeply funny. But
It's so deeply funny.
back in Neff after a lot of their great banter and actually some allusion to Cassie maybe being gay, bi, or even potentially asexual. Not
I
completely
love
sure what
that
he is.
scene. Like, I
It's a
would,
good
but
scene.
it's also incredibly
I
funny and well
also
done.
like there's a lot of things in this issue which like you could potentially read as weird, but I think because the book doesn't like indulge in them, it is more just like they genuinely do just bring up like a lot of the ways that you could get out of these
Yeah.
situations. Like they Cassie and Georgia talk about potentially having sex so that they are not virgins anymore, and then
And I
getting
think
out
that
way.
it's implied that they were cut off by the arrival
Yeah,
of their
they were.
gatekeeper. So
Absolutely,
like,
yeah. That was the direction that it was
Yeah.
going. But in any case, they are then taken by their captors and brought to this old school temple and told that they are going to be impregnated by the old and powerful gods.
which is like
Terrifying.
a massive tentacle monster.
It is also a literal cliffhanger that ends off with a stinger of "to be impregnated?" ?
Well, the previous issue was left off with "to be consummated," I believe.
Yeah, the 2Bs are very, very funny.
It's that thing where Hackslash is just anywhere they can shove a joke in, they're gonna shove a joke in. And I love it.
I think a lot of hack slash is about like the absurdity of the horror genre, and like this one plays into the whole like the genre being obsessed with virgins and like virgins. So I was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna really lead to that. It's very funny. But in any case, Vlad and Gertrude head to the concert venue, and they kind of set up this fan dude had been set up. He works at the concert venue to try to get 666's autograph. And as 66 comes out, he is grabbed by Vlad, who demands his friends back. 66 then leads him into his dressing room, where he goes in a full demonic devil winged form, and the other rock band members come out, and it's ready time for a big showdown. And this big fight breaks out. Yeah.
I want to again cut in and say that this felt like a really great proving ground for the new artist as well. Like she did
Oh,
such a
this was
great
a
job.
gorgeous
The
scene.
devil like look of them is so cool.
Yeah.
You get the like really like kind of visceral kills of Hackslash. Like at one point, Vlad like stabs one of the band members through both of his nipples, to murder him, which you love to see. You get like all these cool magical effects, and it's got like really great dynamism to it that I think is really important for Hackslash, because it is like it pokes fun at the slasher genre, but it also does the parts of it that are good really well,
Oh, yeah.
which is like the really exciting action and the really like
I think we talked about this a lot.
wild
We talked about this a
violence.
lot on the podcast with satire, where it's satire done by somebody who loves the genre versus
Yeah.
satire done by somebody who hates the genre,
Mhm.
which are, I think, the two forms of satire you get, where it's like, this thing is awful and stupid and this is why, or it's like I utterly love this thing, so I know all like the weird things that exist
Yeah.
in this genre, and this is certainly the latter. But anyway, we get into this big
Seeley
fight.
and Kirkman,
Uh,
real good
yeah.
at doing like reverent satire.
Oh yeah. But anyway, we get this big fight scene, and like big important thing here is that the band just works so horribly together that Vlad is able to consistently get them to attack and harm each other very easily. But basically,
boy.
as this is all going on, we get to the big moment where 6-6 goes to use the enchantment, and we're still not sure if Vlad has actually had sex, and it doesn't work, and Vlad is very happy that he did indeed have sex.
I'm so sorry. He had the sex.
He had the sex.
He literally knives above his head, goes, her, I've had the sex.
Yes.
My boy, I love
very
him.
in character for Vlad. But basically, at this point, they're all but defeated, and 6-6 tries to leave, but Gertrude whacks him with a guitar and then smothers him with her breasts.
Oh yeah.
As Vlad comes out and demands to be taken to his friends. We then go back in Neff, where Cassie is egging on one of these demon tusk men, distracting him just long enough for Gertrude to grab and blind him so that Cassie can get the magical staff. And using the staff, Cassie is actually able to take out the vast majority, if not all of these demons, but the old god tentacles that have appeared above the temple grab both her, Georgia, and the former musician.
I think important to note, the former musician, who is Elvis? Like he is named to be Elvis
fully
in
Elvis,
all but name. This is Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Who's now,
wild.
I don't know, capturing women to impregnate them via tentacle monster.
Yeah, but instead he gets impregnated via tentacle monster and explodes.
Yeah.
And it seems like all hope is lost for Cassie and Georgia as Vlad arrives through a portal and cuts them free of the tentacles and pulls them through this portal that gets closed just in the nick of time on the other side, with Cassie literally having to force 6-6 to hold it open in time for Vlad to actually get out. But they make it back to the band dressing room, where Gertrude then uses the enchanted guitar to kick 6-6 into another dimension, where we see that he is given his own personal hell, eternally playing in the shitty bar from the beginning of this arc.
People
we then
who
get
just
a little,
want to
like,
hear Leonard Skinner. He's gonna be playing Sweet Home Alabama all the time.
We then get a little like goodbye moment between Georgia and Cassie, and Vlad has sex with Gertrude one more time. Supposedly,
who knows?
We were actually told that it is just a long goodbye. And then we get another.
I just don't trust Vlad to know if it happened.
But it happened the first time, so who's to say it's not happened again?
Fair enough. Importantly here, Georgia also tells Cassie that she like wants to be besties, but also that they'll never sleep together, which is tragic.
Yeah,
they've been through so much.
I thought about mentioning that. I was like,
I thought it was
kind
really
of mean
funny.
to Cassie. We then get another end stinger, this time in one of these Crane Center labs, where we see a zombie woman in a tube who
we know.
Yes, it is Miss America.
Miss America.
Stinger for the return of Miss America.
Yes. This is so good. I feel like Hackslash is always a good time. Like, it's always so fun to read. And it does such a good job of blending, like, heart with humor and horror. It's got the 3 H's. but what I really liked about this specific arc was Cassie. I feel like she's not great at like the humor part of it, right? Like she'll make like
Yeah.
little quips and one-liners that are like, jokes essentially, but like they're kind of they're more
Yeah.
quips. It
Yeah,
was
she's kind of funny.
such great juxtaposition having her and Georgia dealing with like the high stakes stuff in hell and having kind of like I don't know, more and more serious and heartfelt stuff going on.
Yeah.
With still little like injections of humor, but not like laugh out loud humor the way that Vlad does, because having that just
Yeah.
literally A plot, B plot, but like incredibly equal, like double A plot, with then the other side of the coin being Vlad, this massive deformed monster trying to have sex with someone.
Yes.
It's so well done. It's so funny, and I think that the best thing about Hack Slash is how like great with its characters it is. Like,
Yeah. Totally
because
agree. Vlad and
that's such an
Cassie are
important
like,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're the really the lifeblood of the book. But also, I feel like a lot of times the slashers end up getting so like,
Mm-hmm.
because you could maybe even like I don't know what the full page split is, but maybe even make an argument that the A plot is actually following the band, because they get almost just as much time in this arc. Specifically 6-6. The other members are less.
Yeah,
less
they're
influential.
zombies.
Yeah, but like it really is a book that like jumps between the three quite a bit. Vlad, I would say, I consider the Vlad the A plot just because it's more of what like actually moves the plot instead of like
I mean, fair, but
space stuff. But yeah, like the Cassie stuff is much more like close in conversation, because for a lot of it they are literally in a cage just like talking to each other, but it's really really good dialogue and really really good interaction. There's even, I didn't have time to go into the summer, there is even a like not skinless, a hairless monster dog that they deal with, which is so funny to me. I really really love that.
Like it does help because it's a very fleshy animal, and it like
Yeah.
says that it'll help if one of them will pet it, and
Yeah.
Cassie, being the brave soul, does. But I love so much that later she gets her magic staff and it's just like, nope, this fucking freak ass dog. She just zaps it.
Get out of here, you stupid ugly animal.
It is so ugly. Like I think the most disturbing part, and I this feels disgusting to say, it has human ears.
Yeah.
Like it's a fleshy little.
Oh, it's horrifying.
It's horrifying. Which again, big ups to Stone and the art.
No, I really enjoyed this arc as well. It's effortlessly hilarious, just like in its content and like in the literal story, beats that it is hitting. But like it's such a good. I feel like this series, with it becoming like an ongoing series, has picked up so much of like the actual character beat moments. Like I feel like we talked a lot on the one shots how like a lot of the issues would have like a beat for Cassie, and that it would come usually like the end of an issue. We'd get like a little character beat for Cassie, but that would not be focused on or much of what was going on. Now it's like, no, we really are like getting character beats for Cassie and Vlad, and that's like an important part of the book and what it's doing. Which I feel like is just taking it from a really, really fun book that's well made to just like a really, really good book.
Absolutely. And that's while it's still being a really, really fun book that's well made, which is great.
Absolutely.
Because I think the trade-off, and we saw this a little bit with, I don't think it's called Girls Gone Wild. It's Girls Gone something. The second one.
I know.
It's like Girls Gone Dead or something.
Yeah.
And that one we had talked about being almost a little too serious with Cassie. Like she's like kind of depressed the whole time. And I was a little worried. It's like, okay, if we spend a ton of time on Cassie, there's the chance that we kind of veer back into like the kind of like she is sad and that's sad to watch. Which is like it's a part of her character, but it's not a particularly exciting part of her character to watch, like you don't want to just read some I was gonna say you don't want to just read something about someone being depressed, but like actually it's lonely at the center of the earth, it ties in. So I think it did Back to School. But I feel like they did a great job of preserving the hokiness, which I think you can get away with a lot of in one shots, because it's like, oh, you already bought the book, go forth and read my hokiness. But I think that it does a really good job of keeping that and leveling that up for the longer format.
I fully agree. I think this is, and I think part of it is like it being a long arc, but I'd argue that the first issue is also probably up there with the best one shots that it's done. So like it really, I think that it's reached a really great level with this series, and I think I'm gonna double check it, but I think we're with this artist now for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Which is great because I really like this art.
Great. Yeah, Emily Stone. Okay, Emily Stone does the next story after this, then takes a few issues off, but then comes back for a bunch more issues.
Okay, great.
So Emily Stone is in it for quite a bit of this. I'm looking at the omnibus right now, so I don't know what goes beyond the second omnibus, but for quite a bit of the second omnibus, and I think Emily Stone is incredibly well suited for this book, and I think that's one of the great things here. You obviously sang a lot of Emily's praises, but I wanted to get in on it.
Please do, yeah. Yeah, I think one of the best things is like contrasting the in that very first issue, contrasting the way that the young Cassie scenes are done, the like Cassie with the killer scenes, and then the Cassie with Vlad scene at the very end. Like it shows such great range, and it shows so much of the versatility of both the creative team like Tim Seeley and Emily Stone, and then also of the series and the characters, and like it's willing to touch all of these
and I literally, it has two of my favorite scenes I think in the series history, and they are on such utter like ends of the spectrum, which is Vlad in the coffee shop, because it's just so funny. Like we get close on characters that we'll never see again just because of the way that it's going to set it up, and like the way that it interacts with is just so hilarious, because it sets up this dude to like look really good in front of this girl that he was hitting on, and I thought that very, very funny. And then we get that super emotional scene at the end of the book, which I think just perfectly sums up their characters in a page, which is amazing.
So good.
But it shows you the kind of wide range that this book can go on.
Yeah, and I think something else just to keep gassing the book up, because I can't help myself.
It's really, really good. Like this is such
it's so good. It's so fun.
Flash.
I feel like this is also a book where it doesn't feel like they're like in-universe coincidences, you know? Like it feels like so much of what happens on the page is like justified within the text, because even looking at like, and you talking about that scene is what made me think of it. It's like, okay, you could have a scene where we follow Vlad in and we see people giving him weird looks, but no, instead it's like we're over with these people who are like, and you get a justification for them walking up to him, for them, you know, interacting with him, and that willingness to like move around the perspective of the book, because we even get it with getting so much from the slasher's point of view in this in this issue, in this arc with the devil something, the Devil's Due, maybe? No, that's just the publisher.
Are you trying to get the name of the
Shout
band?
at the Devil? Is it Shout at the Devil? The arc?
Oh, the arc, yeah, the Shout at the Devil. I didn't know what you were looking for.
Another little Motley Crue, Motley Crue, I think Motley Crue reference. Yeah, I think that it's so great how this book is willing to like move into other perspectives to really give like a rounded vibe. I think it's also, like, it keeps it really interesting
a lot too, which I think sets up her sleeping with Vlad in a way that isn't just like, oh, and here comes, you know, a woman who is so desperate that she'll sleep with Vlad. Like we follow her, so that big point can actually make sense. Like you said, they just move the perspective when they have to so well. And I think in the first issue, it's also really great in that coffee house scene, because that is, if you're looking at this as like an entry point for readers in the first issue series, that is Vlad's first appearance. Like that is how they see Vlad, is starting through somebody else's perspective and like getting that like, oh, look at this crazy looking dude, and then they get
like that's Vlad. Not normal. This is how normal people react to Vlad.
No, I think that was a good shout out, is the way that Tim Seeley plays like where he puts the perspective in different scenes and stuff in Hack Slash is maybe one of the strongest things about this book, because it doesn't have like a sprawling supporting cast, though it's getting much bigger. But it's just, even when there's a minor character just for that issue, like they're kind of treated like they're part of a more established supporting cast.
Yeah, I think it's always had like a really strong supporting characters, even though they're not always, you know, with us for a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like all the way back in Euthanized. Yeah, I know I said it earlier, but it immediately left my brain.
Euthanasia.
Even back in Euthanized, I think we were talking up the supporting cast.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. So this is just,
it was really
it's a
great
good book.
In Slice Hard too. When we were in the the lab, I remember that being another issue where I thought the supporting cast was really, really strong. But yeah, I think this is my favorite volume so far, just because I didn't think there was a low point in this volume. I think in a lot of the other volumes, like, this one shot maybe wasn't as strong as the other ones. Like, these 4 issues, I think, would just start to finish.
Yeah, and I think the tricky thing with looking at it on a volume basis is, like, those other ones weren't necessarily meant to be
they weren't intended
into
to be
volumes.
They're all one-shots. Yeah, whereas this is like, okay, great. We got a one-shot, and then we got an arc, and that was great, you know?
Yeah. And it was like, let's put our best foot forward because it's, you know, a new start. But yeah, I thought this was so good.
Some of it is Tim Seeley getting because, like you said, he knows at this point Cassie so well, and I think some of that is he's gotten more comfortable with her over time as a character.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Every time we read Hack Slash, it makes me really mad at myself that it was like 2 years ago or something. At C2E2, Tim Seeley was selling these like super low production Cassie action figures, and I was like,
could have gotten one.
I could have gotten one, and I didn't. Like a fool and a dummy. Bummer. But that's okay.
What a bummer note to end. I think we're going into the wrap up here, right?
I think so. This is my personal bid. Tim Seeley, I'm in the Chicago suburbs. Please let me come to your art gallery and buy a Cassie action figure. I backed the Hack Slash card game on Kickstarter, please.
This is getting sad. I'm gonna.
You can live near Nightwing. You're right there, Tim. And right there.
You could watch our Best Fathers in Comics tier list.
Yes.
As well as the Mother's one, which actually involves a Hack Slash character, Cassie's mother. Both of those are up on the channel now. You can obviously always check out our main episodes on Wednesday. We have an absolute bonus episode coming up this coming Monday, so you should check that out as well. But in case you don't watch any of those, we hope to see you next week. Comic Geeks.